Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. I am on my way to set up a quick backdrop for a birthday party. I'm actually really excited about it. It is Wakanda theme. I'm sure you already saw the thumbnail, but the exciting part are the colors. So we're using purple, we're using chrome blue, and we're using black, of course. But the color combination is just perfect because they balance each other. The blue stands out, the purple is just there, the darkness of the purple, and then of course the dark black just ties everything together. I'll show you how I inflate everything here in a second, but if this is your first time tuning in, this is what we do on this channel. We just create videos that show you all the decor items, mostly balloons and flowers, and I take you along with me to see how I set up each decor. I'm in the car, I loaded all the balloons. Look at that shine on that blue chrome balloon. Beautiful. I have my ladder, have my camera, and I'm actually on time. I'm gonna make one stop and then I'll head over there. Okay, without further ado, click that subscribe button and let's get to inflating. Okay, I'm starting out by maybe it would help if I plug the pump in. Yes, you can laugh. I laugh at myself all the time. Well, we're going to start by inflating the 5-inch balloons. So I have this beautiful onyx black in Qualatex. I'm using 3 different brands of balloons today. They turned out really good. With the balloon design, we're creating clusters of colors. So color blocks is what I call this design. And for each color block, I think I'll need about 3 of the filler balloons. These balloons I'm inflating right now in the 5 inches. So I'm inflating them to probably about 4.5 inches, inflating and making sure that I'm creating a rounded look to the balloon. You don't want them to look oval shaped, then it doesn't make that design look nice. You can always tell when people create these fillers, it ends up not looking as nice just overall when the 5 inches one are different sizes or they just stick out more. Another thing is, if you're not good at eyeballing, then you can always use a sizer for it. So I'm just eyeballing and making sure I create 6 in each color. This next color is beautiful shade of blue, and it's the chrome blue with the brand Batalatex. I had a lot of fun using this brand, part of it because of how stretchy all these chrome balloons are for this brand. And I've talked about this in the past when I use their silver. I always use their silver for my silver designs, and I absolutely love the balloon. I'll show you later on in the video the difference of how stretchy it is compared to this purple. Now the purple is a Tuftex brand balloon, and it's a beautiful shade of purple, just a classic purple that goes really well with this design. The customer sent me a picture of what she wanted me to decorate, so I had to somewhat match her colors, and you tell me at the end if you thought the colors matched well. But we're getting all the balloons prepped right now, of course starting with our 5-inch clusters. Sometimes I'll start with the bigger balloons, but this time, since that nozzle was already connected to the pump, I thought, okay, we might as well. So I'm again making 6 clusters of 4 balloons in each, because I'm going to use 3 supposedly on each cluster or each block of color. Now we're going to open our black balloon. The other 2 sizes I'm using are the 11-inch and the 17-inch. It's either 17 or 18 inch for depending on the brand. I think Qualatex has the 18 inch and Tuftex has the 17 inches. So because this design has bigger clusters of balloons, I'm adding more of the 17 inches with each. I'm starting out with this one right here, and I'm not really liking the size of the cluster, so I'm creating another set of 4 balloons to add to it so that I have the design. I'm checking my phone to see the picture she sent me of the design she wants so that I can make sure that I'm creating a design that works well, that she's happy with. But don't worry, I'll show you later on in the video where the design came from. I'm creating 2 clusters of balloons in each color, so I'll have 6 clusters total that will cover the full garland. So here I'm creating a cluster of 6. Here's Mr. Daniel. He is going to help me put rubber bands on all of the 5-inch filler clusters that I created. He's very helpful in this. I bet you saw him in one of my previous videos, or maybe it's a video coming up, I can't remember, but he's pretty good at this and he helps me a lot because I'm needing to get all this done as fast as I can. He's able to put the rubber bands on it pretty quick for me, so that helps me a lot. Thank you so much, Daniel. Now I am moving on to the next color, which is this chrome blue in Batalatex. Again, I'll explain to you how I am creating these clusters. So I have one 11-inch, one 17-inch, and I'm going to create pairs with each one 11 inches and 17 inches. Make sure you're compressing that balloon to create a rounded effect. See how stretchy that balloon is. See the stretch, and it's so easy to inflate. I'll show you again slower so you can see here in just a second. Another 11-inch, 17 inches. Remember, we're trying to create a fuller design. Daniel is going to start putting the balloons in the bag. For me, I always put my 5 inches first so that I'm not mixing things in the bag to get it. So I'm gonna come closer to show you that stretch in that balloon. It's just unbelievable and just easier to work with. So that's how stretchy it is. And I'll show you with the purple. The purple was a little tougher, but still a good balloon, just harder on your fingers to pull together. So I have a total of 6 and 4 balloons in each cluster. So 10 balloons in each cluster of balloons, just to create that full design. Again, I'll show you the picture the customer sent to me. I'm creating the second cluster in this chrome blue, and then we will move on to our purple balloon as well. So when you're looking into brands of balloons, it's hard to know which ones, but I feel like a lot of it is really based on the color you're working with. And with this theme, these colors work perfectly, and I don't necessarily have a preference to a brand. I just make sure that I find the right color, and it usually works just fine. So most of them, I'll say differently for outdoor installs. Of course, not all of the brands work well for an outdoor install, would last, especially if it's warmer outside, but you have to keep that in mind as well. So here I am coming closer to show you. See how tough the stretch is on this purple. You can see where the round part of the balloon is. It's not as compressed as the chrome blue was. But another thing that you have to keep in mind is that if a balloon is this stretchy, as stretchy as the chrome blue, you need to make sure that you don't over twist it, because when you over twist and create a tight cluster, your balloons end up being squished together instead of having that rounded look. So they'll compress on each other because they're that stretchy, and you'll end up with a garland that looks like the balloons are suffocating. So make sure you remember that. We are done with our balloon. Let's go to the venue. I've always wanted to do this. I just thought it would be fun to add the road trip. This was a little bit of a commute for me, but I've always seen videos how people show how they're getting to their location. And I just thought I would add this for fun, because why not add two, you know? Also accomplish this. We're in the neighborhood right now, and we'll be parking so that we can get everything set up in the house. So here we go. My customer asked me if I could put the backdrop for her on the wall. Neither she or I knew that it would come in 4 pieces, and I didn't know she was getting a paper backdrop, but you have to connect the pieces. So I already put 2 together. There are 4, and I'm using painter's tape to connect them from the back. You have to I had to align them very well so that the design is seamless once it's all connected to the wall. So we're going to put it on that wall behind me there where you see the extension, the cord. So I start here by putting pieces of tape, just little pieces, just so I can get everything straight, and then I use a longer one to connect everything together. This took way longer than I thought it would, but I had to be careful with it, because the last thing I wanted is connecting the pieces and they don't look seamless. So I took time to do it. I'm adjusting this very carefully because it's paper and it could easily tear. So that's the last piece I'm connecting. It's funny how when you edit videos, they look like a piece of cake when they're actually it takes so much longer. So we cleared that space. She had 2 nails on the wall that I was gonna let her take off so that we could put the backdrop against the wall. Her design has the balloons on the left side of the backdrop. I advised that we should put it on the right just because of where she wants to place it. The oven and microwave are right there, and I didn't think the balloons would look good against that cabinet space. So she said she didn't mind as long as it looked good. So I have 2 pieces of tape, little pieces on the backdrop just to get everything aligned, and then I would secure the backdrop better once everything is aligned. I'm aligning it to that corner on the left. So checking my height here, looks like I need to lower the left side of the tape, and it's all fine right now. So I'm going to create some pieces of tape that I'll use to connect from the back of the backdrop. I didn't want the tape to show on the sides. So what I do here is leave that top part of the backdrop open and then roll up tape, not really roll, but fold it over each other in several points on that left side. Left the top corner open so I can move that paper back. You've seen my video how I put wallpaper, so this ended up being a piece of cake compared to trying to hang wallpaper on a wall, but I wanted to make sure it was all straight and that it wouldn't fall off or tear on me. So I initially thought I was going to use tape. I'm showing you the command hooks I'm using, and I'll show you a closer up view of that once it's on the wall. But you can see in that top left hand corner where I have a 260Q hanging on the black one right there, right above where the black Panther is on the backdrop. Initially I was going to attach the 260Qs with tape so that I can wrap my garland on it, but I decided to use the command hook. So right now I'm prepping all the command hooks, which takes time as well. It's all the prep work, you know. If you just show up and hang a balloon garland, it's one thing, but you have to make sure you're doing it right and everything turns out fine. The last thing you want is that the customer calls you when you leave saying things are falling off or popping or whatever the case might be. So I'm taking off what I initially put there with the tape, and I'm going to put all my command hooks or command pieces on the wall. And these are good command hooks because they are safe on a painted wall. So again, you have to hold for 30 seconds just so nothing falls off later. Do it right the first time and you won't have to spend more time on it again. So I'm putting 3 across and then 2 more on the side, so a total of 5 command hooks. And once we get all the command hooks in place, then we'll tie our 260Qs on each one. And I'm getting ready here to show you how I tie them on. So it's lower, the command hook is open at the top, so I'm attaching it low and double knotting it so that it does not come off. Here are the balloons we inflated this morning, this same day. We have our beautiful colors. We're attaching the blue to the black to the purple, and repeating that pattern to create our backdrop. So I'm going to show you a picture of what she sent. I showed on my phone, but when I edited, that's the picture right there. You can see it's on the left, but we're going to put it on the right. So let me know what you think of my design. Of course, you always have to set expectations for your clients. Sometimes that you're not going to produce exactly what they send you, and so they know that it's not going to be perfect. A lot of times it's hard to match custom colors because some people double stuff balloons and the picture is perfect and you can't always find the same shading of color. But I was able to match these colors and put a little twist to the design for me. I'm using the 260Qs attached to the command hooks to attach my garland to the wall. I'm adjusting the garland to make sure that blue tape on the left side does not show, twisting the balloon around and making sure also that the blue tape across doesn't show and the garland doesn't cover all the letters. So I'll be making adjustments here and there so that everything is nice and clean and looks good. None of the characters are hiding. So bear with me. I'm having to adjust. This is what you have to do to get the perfect look. Take time and again, do a perfect job if you're going to put your name on it. I have a little space at the bottom there with the purple, so I'm going to plug in my pump so I can inflate some clusters or one cluster of the purple to attach to the bottom just to extend the garland. Now I'll tell you this cluster was a bit of a pain to get in the right spot. You know, it took me quite a while to secure it in place, but I have my cluster right here of 6 balloons and I'm just going to hold it by the neck and attach that to the bottom of the garland because I don't want the garland just suspended. Could be a look, but that's not what I'm going for today. So I attach it, but I have to take time and make adjustments. I'm tying on the last 260Q that's attached to the wall to secure that in place, and then I'm just moving this balloon around to get it, 1, to not show the wall, 2, to show most of the wording of the forever, but also to stay in place so that everything is nice and secure. Hang in there, guys. We're nearly to the end of this install. Once we can get this purple balloon to work with us, we'll get to our filler balloons. You can see the blue balloon above there, right up in the center. It looks a little squished. That's what I was talking about. Because they're so stretchy, they can compress on each other if they're too tight. But I'll adjust all that when I put my filler balloons in. Now I have my foil balloons in the Wakanda theme. I'm using a hand pump, which is what is recommended to inflate them. I'm using that to attach, and then I'll use 260 Qs to tie them on to the backdrop. But what you want to do is tie the 260 Q in the middle. You're not going to cut it in half. You make a knot in the middle so you have two ends like that, and then you tie those two ends together to create kind of like the rubber band that you use for the filler balloons, and that's what you go around the balloon with. So you just thread that through and it holds that in place. You do want to make it tight enough so that it pulls on and doesn't just flop around. I'm going to put the third one. I'm using 3 foil balloons for this. Third one, same method. I'm going to attach that to the top. So I already had that other one on the purple. It's hard to see. It's right behind that light fixture. So I'm going to move that because I don't like where it's placed. Again, it's easy to take that off because it's just like a rubber band around, and I like where that is better. The foil balloons always are a pain for me because I want to make it look perfect, so I'm always adjusting. Those are the 2 extra balloons I had. I just used that to fill that corner where the wall was showing from that side of the backdrop. Now we're going to our filler balloons, which are the 5 inches we inflated first. Remember, I was telling you I'm gonna use about 3 for each color block. That's what I'm working on right now, just getting them in place. And it just see how it transforms the garland from just a full nice garland to just that elevated look with these clusters of balloons. Another thing that helps is you making sure that you're not inflating your bigger balloons the same size. So some of my 11-inch balloons or 12-inch balloons are probably at a 10-inch and even as small as an 8-inch. So I'm putting all those in place. When you do that and move other balloons, make sure you adjust them. I'm trying to show you here that when you're putting your rubber band, make sure all your necks of your balloon are on one side so that it doesn't show through your design as well. So that was that. Now we're continuing here by just adding each piece and adjusting balloons once we move them or they change position. And I think I had something else to show you here in a little bit as far as placement of balloons or other ways you can attach your filler balloons to your backdrop. There's one other method coming up. You see the 2 chrome balloons. Because I have my 5-inch balloons on a rubber band, they can't go through these 2 big 5-inch balloons, but I want to place one right here and another one right on that side there. So what I do is I end up taking off the rubber band from these 2 5-inch clusters or filler balloons, and then we're going to get a 260 Q, cut it in half. You don't need very long, and we're going to tie it to one of the necks of the 5-inch balloon. Once that is tied, I'll show you here. You just double knot it and keeps that nice and secure. Pull on it and I'll show you there. It's tied. I always have to find a way to show you. There you go. So that's tied. You have enough slack and you tie the other end to the other 5-inch. Just thread that through, wrap it around once is good. And I'm making adjustments so that each 5-inch cluster is not, one 5-inch cluster is not touching the other. So that's as easy as you can do it when you have balloons that are big and you can't get that through. Or you can do this to all of them. The rubber bands are just easier. I just got home and I wanted to get on here to just talk about this decor. Now, I watch movies and do different things, but this time I really thoroughly enjoyed making this backdrop. The whole process, I don't know if it was the colors or what it was, but this was definitely a fun one, and I hope you liked how it turned out as much as I did. I mean, I have the feels, and the customer was very happy. She said it was excellent, perfect work, and I'm just so happy that she was happy with what she got. And it just made me so happy thinking about what I do, because sometimes you're in this business and business is either slow or things are not going, and you just have those customers who make you feel like you're actually doing something that is worth something to them, you know, and she really appreciated it. So all the feelings, and so excited. Hopefully I can settle down now and go to sleep. It's already 12 and I have to work again tonight. I know, I'm crazy, but this was definitely a lot of fun. Here is the final recap of everything. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. All your comments also keep me going. Thank you for subscribing. See you in the next video.